We got a dead period. Can I be heard? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can. There you go. Can you hear me talking? My God. I swear to God. All right, now I'm back. Jesus Christ. Talk about going through technical support. My God. Stole the whole show, just the beginning. Look, let's just get on with it. The link is in the chat. You know what you want. This is practically your channel anyway. This is just an open source repository for trying to get shit done on YouTube. So come one, come all. I mean, Jesus. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. My Lord. Okay, so look, it's officially the dead period. This is all Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's fault. What are we doing? I'm back. Look, man. I don't know what they want from me. I don't know. I restart computers, bro. Listen, this is the deal. Let's get real, people. I've been working my hind parts off all week. And I like put together the show. I was like, dude, I'm gonna do a call-in show. I need a release. I need to talk to the faithful. I need to talk to my peoples. And man, there is an energy where they trying to steal my joy, bro. They not trying to let us have this call-in show. But we gonna fight against the powers that be, man. It is officially the dead period. All right. That means any and everything you want to talk about. I'm not going to be the channel. This is one thing that I will promise you. The Coaches Huddle will not be a channel that makes up fake topics that we don't want to hear about in these next 50 days. I promise you that. You will not hear about what do you think Nick Martin's favorite socks are? What do you think, Kyle? What do you think Brock likes to do on his cornfields when he harvests on? We're not doing that. All right, we're gonna try our best to just deal with each other, right? The Niners are an excuse for us to connect anyway, but we know each other, right? I know Steve-O is gonna talk about the aforementioned shirt that I always wear for everything. I know Steve-O's gonna do that. We know Julie B's going to come in. She's going to be one of the first commenters, and she's going to be freaking positive as hell. We know JLP is going to be one of my first callers, all right? We know Nafka's going to come in here with broccoli. Let's act like we've been here before. We know the deal. So let's just dig a little beneath the surface for this time period. That's all I'm saying, is that for this time period that we're away from the Niners and they are trying to get ready for camp, okay? All I'm saying is that let's just use this time to get to know each other. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a long season because once the news starts flying, once camp starts hitting, then we're in go mode. Everybody gets to battle stations. So those are some of the things that I just wanted to level set about what this time was going to entail. Right? I'm answering comments in the chat. If I don't get a caller, if I don't get calls, I'm literally talking to you guys in the chat for a full-blown hour. Flat out. All right. It does look. Jay Poogie said this sounds like the start of an office meeting. I've been stuck in Teams all week. I've been doing trainings. Shots out to those. I know some of my coworkers watch these shows too. Shots out to the training that I gave y'all this week. I know y'all were grateful. You know who I'm talking about. Shouts out to the control training. But look, I'm talking to people in the chat, man. I'm talking to callers. I want to know what you guys want to talk about. What are the topics? I spend, and we as content creators, we spend far too much time setting up shows, practically putting together takes, looking at the news and trying to answer like what would be the best questions off of this news that just came, right? But I'm tired, to be honest with you. I'm going to be one of the few that actually admits it. I'm tired. I actually need the break. That's why you haven't seen me as much. I got a life. You know what I'm saying? Julie, you got to call in too. You got to get out of the chat and call in, Julie. Julie, I'm challenging you to come into the chat, come into the call-in show. The link's right there. You don't have to do it today. You do not have to do it today. So you don't have to do it today. But it would be good for you to come on. We'll be nice. I'm nice. I'm a conversationalist. Like, we can do this. Talk about what you've been up to, what season you're in. Julie, we can catch up. I feel like I know you. You know what I'm saying? Hindi. Coach Niner safety soft. No. The safeties are not soft. As a matter of fact, I believe the safeties is probably one of the weakest groups that we have so far. Let's kind of go ahead and get that. I'm going to get to you, JLP, too. I got you. But right now, we're just looking at the roster right now as far as the safeties are concerned. I don't know, man. I mean, who's the starter? Jair Brown, maybe Jason Pinnock. Malik Mustafa is not going to be ready for the start of camp. We can throw this up. Hold on. Share screen real quick. So, yeah, Malik Mustafa is not going to be ready for the start of camp. All right. Jair Brown is coming off of a down year, if we're being honest. And then, honestly, it's a bunch of guys. George Odom would be the clear, like, by stats start. If you guys can see his PFF grade, he's 70.5 overall PFF grade, which is the best out of all of the safeties that we have signed thus far for the Niners. But safety is going to be a labor of love, man. There's no way around it. Either we can be negative, but I choose to be pragmatic. There's nobody special there that's playing right now. And then also with Marquise Siegel, we got to get him on the field. Marquise Siegel is having some injury issues. I don't know exactly what's going on with Marquise Siegel, but I know that he's not ready to go. We already know about Malik Mustafa's knee injury. And then also, right now we got to see what we're going to get out of Jason Pinnock. So safety is, tenable at best. You know what I'm saying? I got a lady, bro. I got a lady. Mrs. Coach don't play no games. If you think that I'm a wild dude, just imagine the type of woman that it takes to keep me in line. You know what I'm saying? She don't play no games. Look, baby, I love you. She watching this show right now. You about to get me in trouble. So look, I'm going to throw up JLP, and yeah, we just gotta be straightforward. Not too high, not too low. Logical, sensible approach, okay? The world's not ending, but everything isn't great either, right? So, as far as the safety room is concerned, it's I literally am waiting for them to show me what they are. It's clay. And that's as fair as I can be. Because if I really wanted to dip into the world of opinion, then we'd be able to touch on all of the hot points with the safety group. Young, inexperienced, injured. Nobody's a real starter. Like, we could do it all. But I just want to see how it's going to shape out. Football, time is a great thickener of things, man. Like, just time. Time always seems to shape out a process. So we got the guys in the room. Let's see what shakes out. So We'll see. All right. So look, JLP, my dog, my man. Get my man up here. JLP. What's good, brother? Talk to
you doing
me.
all right?
I'm doing phenomenal, man. Just finished out the week.
I'm having internet issues also, so hopefully you can hear me and everything.
I can hear you, man. I am in no position to talk about it. You can call up here with a Campbell's soup can connection with a string attached to it, and I would just have to sit here and deal with it the way I started this show. Embarrassing.
No, I just want to ask you, which cornfield that, Brockford is going to be in the office. You answer that one, Coach. I had to.
Hey, I'm telling. Hey, look, but you can only imagine the topics that we're going to hear over the next month, right?
Clickbait bull crap. That's not going to amount to anything when the actual season starts. And that's the thing. Like, no, go ahead.
Well, now for a touch of news, though, Nick Martin did break his thumb.
I heard that.
So, I mean, now that's news.
I heard that. And I saw the footage of Malik actually out, doing some sprinting and some lifting. So, we got a little bit of bad news, a little bit of good news, but I just wonder how it's going to shake out when the actual season starts. Who we're actually going to have, who we're not going to have.
Yeah, that's and they're going to keep that close to the chest all the way until week 1. And then even guys that would think that are going to be there, it'll roll out to this guy was never ready in the first place. So I know what it's like being a fan of this team, particularly with this regime. Right.
Look at what they did with McCaffrey last year. Oh, he's fine. He's fine. He's all good.
Yeah.
No big worries. And then what was it, week 8 before we got to see? You know what I mean? So,
dude, they're gonna treat us like mushrooms. They're gonna feed us shit and keep us in the dark. You know what I'm saying? So that you already know the deal. So I know, and that's another thing. Broke his thumb lifting in the weight room of all places. I mean, that really threw me.
I don't get this whole thing of our guys get injured in the weight room. Who's in charge of watching what they're doing in the weight room? I mean, don't you remember Jeff Wilson Jr.? He got injured in the weight room a while back, but still, these guys get injured in the weight. Who's in charge? Put somebody in charge of the weight room and make sure that nobody's getting injured while you're in there. I mean,
yeah, I mean, they all. I'll tell you this, man. Let me ask you this. So I know Nick Martin, sometimes we get guys that come in and for some reason we always kind of like slot them in spots on the team. Is the best Nick Martin going to do for us? Is it a fair assertion to say Nick Martin is probably just going to be a really good special teams player for us at best? At least this year.
It could be. But then again, looking at Robert Salah's, his record with drafting linebackers. He was a linebacker in the league himself. He was very, a decent one himself. So you look at his track record with that. I mean, hell, I don't know. He could definitely just be special teams, and that will be okay because I want to go special. We get kicker still on our team, but it's here there. But I mean, if that's the case, I don't have an issue with it. I mean, he's going to have to beat out D. Winters to take that spot. I think D. Winters is slotted in to be the starter, but I don't see why you couldn't run with all three of them. Him, alongside of Warner, alongside of Winters, all three. Unless he just doesn't play that one position that we need. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, one thing that we have to look at too is, our injuries are always going to play a factor. But I feel like there's two sides of the injury element to our team this year. There's the injuries of the older guys as far as attrition is concerned to save them and preserve them. But then there's also the rookie wall. I think that matters due to the fact of how many rookies we're playing this year. I mean, the rookie wall could automatically kind of exponentially decrease the potency of our team, like in week 10, week 11, where we're saying, like, man, we had this crazy run game that we could stop the run, or, elements of our team uh that we notice. I just think that this year, I'm predicting that it's going to be a hard time to figure out who we are identity wise because of the different. I feel like we have a large gap of players. We have a lot of veterans. We got a lot of young guys, but we got very few guys who are in their 4 or 5 years where it's like, I know the game. I can play through a whole season. I can play through an injury. Nothing's really slowing me down. I'm expected to be a pro. We don't have a lot of those middling players on the team anymore.
And one of the problems is with that, you got to think about these colleges that they don't run the amount of games we run in the NFL. They just don't. And then you add playoffs on top of it. I mean, by the time you get to something like that, you're in there for 18, 19, 20 weeks, hopefully. I mean, and then those guys are just not prepared. They're not used to it because in college they don't run that many games,
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just like one of the things I hate about college is that whole 1 foot in is a catch bullshit. And that's the reason why I'm not that big into it. I'll watch college. It's okay. But I just don't like some of their rules. And that's another one that goes along with it. It's just the fact they don't run enough games to get people really prepared for the NFL. You think you're prepared. You might start off the season, like you said, hell, we might start off with a great run defense. Then by the end of the year, all of a sudden, they're on the sideline holding their knees. Just kind of catch the breath. Because they're not used to running that many games in a row, and the NFL is relentless. They are relentless. Some of the things that you think everybody's saying, oh, we got an easy schedule, It sounds easy on paper. It never actually is easy. And you know good and well how many of those teams could turn around and go from worst to first. Then all of a sudden, our schedule don't look that good.
Well, what do you have for the season outlook? What's your schedule for the season? What do you have as going your record?
Well, I've already been on record to say 13 wins. However, that could go between 10 and 13. That just depends. I mean, don't see us going back to what we just had this past year. I think we'll start off the season really hot. Then there's some games that worries me. That the Texans one worries me. Honestly, even like Carolina worries me. For some reason, we always have a problem with Carolina, and I can't stand that.
Carolina week 12.
That's another game that worries me.
Okay.
It's on a Monday
well,
night.
Right now, I still got us going. I still got them going 10-7. Our Monday night games. Right now, we've got 2 Monday night games. We got Carolina, and then we go to Indy and play them Monday night. So really, you're worried about Indy on the road?
Any of those, I'm gonna tell you why. The guys get up, they're all ready, they're all pumped up for the game, and they got to sit around and wait. And then you'll see them. They'll come out. Sometimes they'll come out really strong in those games, or sometimes they'll come out really flat. So it just depends on how we are. Just like those 1 o'clock games. Anytime we have to go play at 1 o'clock, which is 1 o'clock my time here, but their time it's 10 a.m. So they're not ready to play ball at 10 a.m. How many of those do we have on the schedule?
That's true.
I know it's at least a couple of them, and so those type of games were always on that track. The Browns or something dumb, or we'll end up getting beat by somebody that we should be able to beat. But all in all, though, I feel pretty confident.
How do you feel about the team going into camp?
I like it, except for I don't like the injuries. I would rather see all the rookies be able to participate, even if you can't see the Brandon Ayuk's or Trent Williams or something like that, because you already know what you're going to get out of them. Well, for the most part, Not with Ayuk as much because you don't know with him coming back from an injury. But Trent Williams, you pretty much know what you're going to get. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind not seeing him go out there and go all out in training camp or OTAs or any of that kind of stuff. It's great to see him there, but just like with McCaffrey, I mean, it's great to see him there, but I don't want him to go out there and go all hard in training camp and
Mm-hmm.
then can't go for the season because he tweaked something. you know, that's the only
Understood.
thing I'm saying. But people like Alfred Collins, man, I'm ready to see this boy get out there. He a big old dude. I want to see what he's about.
I don't.
They
I'm
say
worried
he
about
played
him.
through his whole college career with this injury. Let's see it.
I'm a little concerned. Um, he should be on the field, and this is my own. This all right. So I like to build context, and sometimes it's not right to do this, but
And that
for
might have messed
me,
up.
I've seen him. Yeah, I still got you. For me, I've seen him.
Okay.
He's been able to uh, kind of get through a whole college career without necessarily playing a full season until the last year. And he played behind some really great guys. So he gets the benefit of the doubt for not being able to kind of crack that ceiling to start because he played against he played in front of I think he played in front of Byron. He played in front of a lot of guys. Sweat. So for me, I give him the mulligan on, all right, you didn't play throughout your whole career. But then he played one full year at Texas, and he did good, and people were very surprised. But he also has played more football than he's ever played in his life, right? And you got to think about it. This is somebody that came from high school, played all throughout high school. Then he kind of sat the bench and was like a spot guy for 3 years. Then he finally comes in, plays a full year, comes in and has to come out of the season and get in shape for the combine. And now he's here and he's got a foot issue that he's been dealing with. And he hasn't practiced at all, right? Since we've gotten him. Like, for me,
It just worries me a little bit, is all I'm saying.
it worries me
Maybe he'll be
too.
okay. Maybe he'll be okay. But I mean, there was probably guys there that you didn't have those kind of concerns with. That's the only thing that worries me is we get a little bit too cutesy sometimes when it comes to these draft picks. I mean, I'm hoping he balls out. And hell, I like all the picks, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing is I need to see Alfred Collins on the field. Marquise Siegel, I really had high hopes for Marquise Siegel, but he's another guy that I want to see him get on the field. Also, TJ West is another guy that
and we
I need to
we
see
signed
him.
him. I don't know if you saw. We finally
Yeah,
got
I
him
saw that.
signed.
That was great. Finally got
Yeah.
him done. Yes, that's good. You think there's any smoke to us getting possibly being in the running for Shamar Stewart out of Cincinnati?
I don't know. It would just depend. They would have to really be desperate to get out from under him, and that would
Mm-hmm.
worry me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think I know that Larry Kruger loves Shamar Stewart. Doesn't really think there's that much of a difference between him and Michael Williams. Also, just with all of the things that are going on with Cincinnati, who is notoriously frugal as an organization. I know that there's the rules out where if this did go to the bitter end, I think that he would have to go. I think he would have to get redrafted. I believe, but there is a
Set up
scenario where,
and
yeah,
in the next year's draft. Yeah.
which is insane. I think that the Bengals are the ones who have. I mean, honestly, I love the way that he handled himself in public, man. He really let it be known, like, yo, it's really not me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to sign a garden variety basic contract. It's the Bengals who got their thumb on the scale, trying to really get as much out of this as far as leverage is concerned. So, it's really honestly, this is one of the rare positions in the NFL where somebody's doing something and on the low, the organization looks bad. So we'll see. I think JLP, we lost JLP.
For what I'm hearing, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. From what I'm hearing, it's all about some kind of wording that they're trying to put in his contract. I mean, and
Yeah.
I thought these rookie contracts were pretty much cut and dry. Like, here's the
Yeah.
contract, sign it or you don't. I mean, I didn't think it was any kind of let's mess with the wording. This ain't your second, third contract. This is your first contract. I mean, it should be done. But the
Yeah.
Bengals are stupid. They're the ones wanting to do dumb stuff. So, good for them. Who cares?
Yeah.
If there is a chance of getting him, we can get him for a deal. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind going after him. I mean, honestly, next year.
Oh, JLP, you're in the Matrix now. You're in the Matrix, baby. Your internet's in the Matrix, baby. I'm gonna get at you.
Yeah, it probably is.
Hey, JLP, he hung on as long as he could, man. Look, I'll tell you this. I want to deal with this question right here. Julie B says, that's my hope. Solid for head coach, a real leader, motivator, upbeat, energetic, and smart. I saw this too. Did you see the draft? He was gassing Salah up the whole time. Salah's in the building. I know Jerm is talking about Jed. I believe that there is a case for this. I do. I think that Jed is very smart and he understands exactly what the fan base wants and needs. I also believe that Jed could also sell this in a way where it doesn't have to make Kyle look bad if Jed was to move on from Kyle. Let's just say we don't make the playoffs this year. I want to hear from you guys. If we don't make the playoffs this year, do we automatically have Kyle on the hot seat, right? Or does Kyle get one more? Does Kyle get one more year, or should Jed pull the trigger now if we miss the playoffs? I'm going to give my opinion, but I want to know either or. Should Jed, if we don't make the playoffs this year, should Jed put Kyle on the hot seat and give him one more year, which would be his 10th year here, or should Jed pull the plug right after this season, immediately? So those are the two options. Hot seat year or pull the plug immediately. Let me know. I'm going to put this. So let me know in the chat. Do you guys think if the Niners don't make the playoffs, does Kyle Shanahan get a hot seat year where he gets one more year to save his job, but he's on the hot seat, or you cut bait immediately? You cut bait after this season. I need to know from the chat. Tell me what you think about this. Because I have my opinion, but before I give my opinion and give my take on why I would pick either or, I want to hear from the chat. Kyle hasn't out because of the rookies. Keep the Faith says yes, one more year. Okay, so Keep the Faith says a hot seat year. Okay. Give it to me, guys. One more year. Dang Dang says one more year. Okay, so he gets a hot seat year. Okay. What else? Mike says one more year. All right. It depends on how it looks. He gets one more year. All right. Swaggle House says it depends on how he looks. He gets one more year. Manhattan John says team is too good with the schedule like this to miss the playoffs. No hot seat. Kyle gets asked to move on. There we go. Okay, so John says move on. Mike T says nope. 9 years. I've seen enough. Julie, definitely not. Definitely don't want one more year. Cousin Vin, this is essentially the hot seat year. All right. So I've seen enough. And a lot of you who have leaned on the hot seat year, I disagree. I'm leaving this comment up here because this is exactly how I feel. I feel like that this is the hot seat year. All right. And Jed is well within his right not to put that out there right now. But if you're Robert Saleh, Robbo, you know the deal. If you're Robert Saleh, do you give the Niners another year? Or do you say, if you really wanted me, you would make the move now, especially with 2 years of missing the playoffs? You got to look at the element of disrespecting Robert Saleh too. You can't make Robert Saleh a 2-year defensive coordinator. The more you're a coordinator, the less you're a head coach. So the years that Robert Saleh is not being a head coach, his resume of being a coordinator is growing and growing and growing. I think that if you don't do it for even having Robert Saleh in the building, having the courage of your convictions alone, with understanding that how can you move on to how can you not move on from everything that you've given this regime for all of the money that we've had? And on top of the fact that if you're going to get a coach in here, you want a coach who can take on Brock with a favorable contract. If you wait 2 more years, you're only giving a coach 1 prove-it year with Brock before you're either going to have to re-sign Brock to give him all of that money that kicks in into his 4th year of his deal after those 3 good team-friendly year deals. That's going to be hard. That's a hard pill to swallow as a head coach coming in. I believe that if they move off from Kyle, it would have to be this year. That's what I see. Leon Sandcastle says, at least we'll get some content from Tight End U in a couple of days. Good old Tight End U. Thing Day says, Saleh is not offensive. That scares me. That's awesome. Let me tell you something. One of the biggest things that coaches, and really not even coaches, but just in any profession, when you get a job, right, the biggest thing about being on the job is the differentiation or the ebb and flow, or the balance rather, of your intellectual property, what they pay you versus what you give them, right? So if we take that into the head coaching realm profession, you'll see that the biggest thing that coaches are skittish on, I mean, they really play this close to the chest, is their intellectual property, their scheme, how they do things, their process. Because once you learn their process, you really don't need them. You just need somebody else that can work it. And honestly, in a way, their different approach to working a process that you know could give you a new identity as a team. Those 2 elements put together giving you something brand new. Look at the Eagles. The Eagles are 1,000% running off of the Andy Reid playbook. How they run their team, how they scout their linemen, how they bring in their players, their identity, what they want to do, what they don't want to do. It's all based off of the things they loved and did not love with Andy Reid. You think it's a coincidence that they are so enthralled with offensive linemen with the Eagles? They took everything. And when they wanted, when the organization felt like they had everything they could get out of Andy Reid, they used, players aren't the only people that get used. They showed him the door, respectfully, but they moved on. Kyle's process after 9 years is all over that building. The run game, the practice scripts, the schedules, the plays, the play calling, all of it. All of it. Jed and that entire building, that would be professional malfeasance for them not to be collecting as they go. They've got 9 years of Kyle Shanahan in that building. They can find their own coach. But what they know about offensive football and what they know about the Shanahan way, they can find what they need to do. That's the way it works. That's why coaches are so skittish with their property and their intellectual property, rather, because they know that's what makes them special. Whatever we didn't have as far as knowing what to do offensively before Kyle Shanahan, we'll add that on to what we had. We have enough. So bringing in Coach Saleh is not going to be the same thing like the Jets bringing in Coach Saleh, where he's got to build an entire team from scratch. Conceptually, identity-wise, what offense he wants to, everything. Coming here, we can help you with a little bit of that. We got some internal things here that can help you along the way with building out your culture, building out your identity. You know, we only started with the West Coast offense here. Now we've got another version. We've got the wide nine that we brought over here from Kyle Shanahan. There's got to be somebody in that building collecting, hoarding. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you have to do. All right. If I'm in that building and I'm Jed and I got control of that front office, there's somebody from my staff that is coincidentally always there. Somebody's going to be in those meetings. Whether they be a fly on the wall, whether they have a voice, who cares? We're recording those meetings. Yes, we're going to watch the way your coaches coach. We're going to watch the way you watch film. We're going to watch the way you break down film. We're going to watch your practice scripts. We're going to record your practices, your period times. We're going to record your scheduling, your travel schedules, your play calls, all of that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a consultant or a specialist to come in here and piece through all of the metadata that we have gained over the 9 years of having you in the building. That's what makes it. That's why I've always found it so funny when people talk about Kyle Shanahan like he's a one-on-one and we can't do anything without him. Do you really think Nick Sirianni is intelligently designing everything there with the Philadelphia Eagles? You really believe that? This guy, Nick Sirianni, that guy knows everything that's going on with the Eagles. Just coach, bruh. We'll do the rest. So I believe if I'm thinking that Jed is a smart businessman, there's nobody that's going to be in my building, and I don't know exactly what I'm paying for. I don't know exactly how you do what you do. No, none of this behind the veil bullshit. So I don't. So as far as like Kyle is concerned, bro, there's an app for that. There's an app for that. We can have it all. Whole offense. From root to stem. The whole offense. We'll have it. Oh, we don't know how to call plays. Yes, we do. We know how you call plays. We have your practice scripts. We got them. You use our printers, don't you? All right, well, we got all your shit. I'm getting into cybersecurity now, guys. Don't let Jed, if I know Jed the way I know CEOs, where your building is your little world, you have your own sovereignty. You can do whatever you want, especially from technology perspectives. There's nothing that Kyle is doing in that building that's not recorded. Literally nothing. There's an archive. Trust me. So Robbo says Kyle needs to delegate and let go of that stubborn ego. Until he does, it may be more of the same, close but no cigar. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. At some point, you get weeded out. At some point, coaches don't stay forever. But organizations aren't supposed to just fall off because a great coach leaves or a really good coach leaves. So they need to be focused, right? And then I see this too, Julie. Jed's too focused on leads now, 49ers to taking a back seat. That's true. But look, all I'm saying is that there's a process to lateraling over from Kyle to somebody else, really. And you don't have to lose much. I don't think you do. I'm going to get Alan up here. Alan, you ready for me, dog?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What's up, brother?
How you doing, Coach? I've
I'm
been
good.
listening to you for a good minute, man. This is my first time calling in.
Hey, man, give me what you got, brother. Talk to me.
Well, going over through the shows with you and Jesse, and then the four-man front, and then like some of the stuff you had back with Grant. The one thing you always emphasize, being the online guy slash D line kind of guy like me, because that's what I played in high school.
Great.
Uh, I wish it did a lot more RPOs, make it easier for Brock and that online because it gets one way gets Brock into rhythm, especially on early downs, right? Like especially early games, because I feel like Brock proceeds to be really good if you get him in rhythm. It's kind of the same way like Jimmy did back in his day, where you get him his rhythm, he got all the confidence in the world. But instead, if you just throw in these little check downs or running about 60% of the time, just not telling him, hey, we got no confidence in you and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, look, I agree with that, man. I mean, one of the biggest things right now that I see is that the RPO just it gives a lot of things, man. It reduces the reliance on sustained pass blocking, right? So it takes a load off of us up front. We get to dictate to the defensive line. Also what it does is that as far as dictating is concerned, is that it forces defenses to commit, right? They got to get upfield. And what that does is that gives us we can wash guys upfield, log guys off. It helps the offensive lineman kind of play like a little bit of like basketball more than football. We're really picking guys, necessarily moving them, and that really helps us because it takes a lot of wear and tear off of us up front, especially with an undersized offensive line, right? And also because of the RPO, we lock that defensive lineman. We lock that defense into a certain alignment. They got to play our way, right, to honor it. And I love how it creates opportunities by spreading the defense. So yeah, I wish we would see it more. But again, I think that Kyle is just really into his process.
Yeah, I know. But you could also say that it also take a load off just the running back, especially McCaffrey. Not
Mm-hmm.
taking as much banging hits and stuff throughout the season. Because you always
Mm.
talking about it, throughout before this whole Achilles thing. I remember you emphasized why aren't we not taking them off more, especially in stacked boxes, let Mason take that load, especially like the bruisers.
Yeah.
That's just one thing I wished. I ain't gonna lie, Coach. One thing I wish we did was sign Nick Chubb. Think that would have been a
Yeah.
wonderful pickup. I think Dick Miko Ryans knew we needed a bruiser back because we already got, our elusive back, our third down back and stuff. He just needed a ground and pound, especially in the fourth quarter, because that's like
Mm-hmm.
carries McCaffrey don't need unless it's a close game.
Come on,
Especially if you're
man.
blowing a team out and stuff. Like that's like common knowledge. That's why at times you even said to yourself, why are we still playing our starters deep in the fourth quarter in certain games that they don't need to be in?
I like for me, a lot of the stuff that I ask obviously is from the trenches, from a trenches perspective, and because we played in the trenches and I coached down there, I played in the trenches. I just know I know the tempo of the game when nasty yards need to be gained. And a lot of guys, you need a tough runner down there because man, we're really just stepping on each other, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like there's double teams going, we're slipping off double teams, we're stepping on each other, we're pushing each other. And honestly, there really is no space. You're really telling the back to run up your back. Really. You know what I mean? Like, yo, if I'm in the way, run up my back. Like, don't wait.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
you probably can back up with me saying that we probably refer to run plays over pass plays because
Yes.
yeah, we didn't have to deal with backpedaling and worry about holding our anchor and all that crap. It's like at least
Nobody wants
with
to
the run
do
play,
all of
just
that
go and get it.
athletic shit. No. I'm trying to put I want to get you out the club, dog. You getting up out the club. I'm putting hands on you, bro. That's
Yeah,
way more easier.
especially if you ever was a pulling guard, that was the most funnest thing you could do. Is man, you got full steam ahead, and whoever I seen, it's over for them and stuff.
Yo, you get to pick on them, dog. And don't get a good angle where maybe like you got a safety or you got a overhang where they playing games and like pussyfooting around, so they gave you a chance to get square with the line of scrimmage and you can get upfield. Like, well, we already got yards. It's over. You don't let me get north and south with the line of scrimmage. Whoever's in front of me is going bye-bye.
Yeah, especially that's like my favorite part because that's when you punch somebody in the mouth and you see how they respond the play after that. Because you don't know they got just letting them know you're gonna deal with me for a full fucking 3 hours and shit.
Yeah, man. So I mean, look, brother, we're on the same page. I think that one thing that I will give Kyle, it's like this is the thing that kills me is that I want to get at Kyle, the head coach, but I have to give him credit as Kyle, the
Offensive
coordinator.
coordinator. Yeah, I agree.
And I hate this because on one hand, Kyle, the head coach, I want to stand on top of his head in the middle of the street and be like, "You deserve all of this. You idiot. You should have drafted these guys. What is wrong with you?" But then Kyle, the OC, I'm like, dude, I understand why you're not running that. I wouldn't run that either. Like, I don't trust this O-line. You know what I mean? Like, you got to just, like, I trust it,
then
bro. Like, I see.
times, and then coach, you go back in times though. It's like, man, why always you calling some certain stuff for Trey? Why always you calling certain stuff for Jimmy? Either he shouldn't be running.
Come on,
And
son.
then even some Brock, like there's even some calls like Grant said. I wish every more. I wish they run more read options for Brock, especially goal line. Because
Yeah.
how many times the couple of times Kyle called it last year, wasn't it? I think it was last year or the year prior.
Yes.
Nobody was ready for it because that's not what Brock's known for. Is his running capability, especially in the goal line. Everybody's worried about McCaffrey. Everybody's worried about George. Everybody's worried about Ayuk. It's like
Yeah.
common little knowledge, man. It's like I just let nitpick, like you said, just the little things, like because those little things could make you have a problem throughout the season that can come and bite you in the ass, especially injury wise or lack of depth and stuff like that. It's just like, come on, man. Especially not playing your rookies early. I feel like that's the one thing you guys emphasize so much. Why ain't we playing
Yeah.
more rookies, throughout the years
Yeah.
and stuff?
I think this is what really the Niners got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And this is now that we see what the cap looks like now, and now that we've kind of come down off of like the Super Bowl window, I think everybody can say that the window it's not, I mean, it's all but closed. Like, come on, we're trying to fight for the playoffs this year. So this is what really gets me about the Niners is that they were so preoccupied with trying to keep the guys that they had on the roster that they didn't really draft with good intent. And what I mean by that is I remember there was a time where we had so much talent from top to bottom that the Niners were openly saying that they could not draft a rookie draft class that could make this team. Do you remember that? Where they were like, well,
That's why
we're
they
really
got
not.
Drake Moody on this roster. That's why
Yeah.
they got certain other players that don't need to be on this roster. This like, but you gotta understand also, Coach. They messed up still with that Trey Lance thing because they can't go out
Mm-hmm.
and get first. They couldn't go get first round picks. Talent. Where although we don't know how that would handle throughout those years because we could go back and say, "Oh, they screwed up." You can even say it too that we don't have a greatest track record for first round picks at all. We got lucky, but like you say, we don't count Bosa. The really true first round
Yeah.
pick that we actually got of it is Ayuk. That's actually been decent.
And that's my point. My point is that the Niners I think we got caught falling in love with these names instead of moving on from guys. Like instead of paying them, we should have moved on. We should have moved on from Debo instead of paying him. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like moving on from Debo would have forced us to go get another receiver. But we were so preoccupied with keeping all of these guys because we felt as though that we had a Super Bowl team intact that it was all about finding guys that could support the core rather than finding guys that can challenge the core, right? And that's where a Drake Jackson comes from. Where he's good, but it's like would we really okay, let me say this year. Would Drake Jackson in the second round been adequate for what we're trying to do on our defense this year?
Not at all. And you see, we're
E-
just going to be physical with our D line, especially run
exactly.
defense.
So the fact that they thought that Drake Jackson was a guy during the draft and during the position of the draft that they got him in, that makes me feel as though that they didn't feel as though that they needed a guy that could actually challenge the start. They just needed a guy for a skill set, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, he's really good at rushing the passer. It's like, but that ain't a fucking football player though,
Yeah,
right?
especially with
Like,
your first pick in that draft, it being a
yeah,
person that's just basically a complimentary piece. Like that makes zero
exactly.
sense.
And I feel like a lot of years because of the Trey Lance draft, it started with the Trey Lance draft. But I feel as though that a lot of the years with this regime, they've drafted for a specific need and it's gotten away from them. All the way to the point now where where they can't draft for specific need anymore. Now they got to go get guys to replenish the whole team. Period. So now you got to go get a Mykel Williams. You got to go get an Alfred Collins because you've been getting all of these specialist guys that you're getting a guy for one specific trait. But then when that trait doesn't work out and he's not a football player across the board, then you can't use him, right? Like Drake Jackson without his pass rush isn't even an NFL football player,
Yeah, I agree.
right?
He's like basically the Javon Clowney before Javon Clowney even became decent in the league.
Right. So he's
That
not
that
even that's my thing is that the Niners need to start drafting like the Ravens or like the Eagles, where they don't care if they draft somebody that's gonna get somebody else cut. They draft that guy anyway. They
yeah,
go
it's the same
good
thing with
on good. They don't care. They double down.
yeah, it's the same way with the Eagles. Look at the Eagles. Hey, what you guys feeling like we should have? Oh, let's get. You guys want another quarterback? Let's go get another quarterback. This
Right.
is where you separate from the winning organizations to the mediocre organizations. You can agree with me with that, coach. That your goal as an organization is what you can get better at. What can
Yeah.
make me? What can we make our team better at? And you would think the trenches, right? Because when they entered the league, our team for the first time, they mentioned trenches off rip, but they never ever addressed it until now, especially because they needed it now. That's the only difference, except the online. Because the
Yeah.
online don't exist. It's only 7-on-7 out there, coach, for offense.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't necessarily understand their approach to the trenches. Uh, they did a phenomenal job with the front seven at one point. I was really galvanized with what they were doing on the defensive line side of the game. And in a way, we've been spoiled as fans. I mean, we go from freaking Joe Staley to Trent Williams. We don't even know what it's like to have a bad left tackle. Um, and I just believe that this year coming up I think it's going to be make it or break it for Kyle. We really got to see. And
Yeah,
I want
I
him to see what
agree.
he's going to be able to do with Coach Sala on the roster on the coaching staff.
So
Tell me what you
Steph,
got that's coming in. Tell me what you got that's looking like coming into camp.
the one thing I do want to see coming in camp, I want to see Burford at right tackle. I feel like that's, why not? This is a shot in the dart. See it throughout preseason. Give him reps there. Because then, the worst case scenario, you just have him play this, the swing tackle if somebody gets hurt or something. But
Mm-hmm.
I really do expect our DB room to be very competitive, right? You got
10
uh,
corners.
you got 10 corners. We still don't know what was that corner's name?
Which one?
The one been on the roster since Steve Wilkes,
Darrell Luter
Matthew.
Jr.
Yes, and he showed potential throughout preseason. But I'm curious how he's going to turn out. I'm curious about the linebacking stuff, which I do think I'm going to say crazy take that our linebacking core right now is going to be just like the linebacking core we had before with Al was it Al Shazier
Think you're
and
gonna struggle?
Greenlaw.
Oh. So you're saying we're gonna be the fourth? You know what's a shame
What?
for as good as our defense has been and as good as the offense has been. You know that people low key didn't realize that the Niners we had the best linebacking core in the league for like a good 4 to 5 years. Like we
I say
really
even
never
longer than
got that
that.
respect.
I feel like that's longer than that. Like throughout my lifespan as a kid growing up, I feel like there was
Well,
always that
yeah, yeah,
that one known linebacker for sure.
yeah,
But then it's like as the years gotten, there's that two that that duo, and then
yeah.
as the Kyle regime kicked in, you got that trio. Like you're like, oh my god, like screw putting the the fourth corner or third corner in. Just run the three linebacker set. We good.
Mm-hmm.
But like you say, we are known mainly as like us being the true Niners ourselves is that front seven on defense and that O line with the greatest running game. But
Yeah,
until the time being we see it, we'll see how that goes. But the one person I really am excited to see is the improvement of Jacob Cowing because I do see like him making it to the starting roster spot and that rookie receiver we got from Ole Miss because you guys are Grant's been
Watkins.
raving. Yeah, he's been giving him the praises that he deserves probably, but we'll have to see. I hope you guys do make it out of training camp with you and Jesse because I do enjoy you guys' inputs because you guys watch two separate things and you guys, especially for when it comes to 11 on 11, so you guys, give you guys each other's inputs.
Yeah, man, we're trying to close that gap right now. We're it's not necessarily 100% yet. We got to lock down the tickets because the Niners kind of put the Niners they make the tickets like first come first serve. They open it up to I believe the Niners
The
open it up to season tickets
holders,
holders
yeah.
first. Yeah. So we got a couple of fielders out there, some guys that are going to look out for us. But once we lock in the tickets for the days, that's when 100% full speed ahead. Like tickets are bought, we're going out there. So I'm excited about it. One thing that I did want to bring up while you're here is that there was a comment right here with Gojira Von Jinx. Bosa's contract is a huge arbitrage to trade or cut. Look it up. Let's look at it. So one thing that I will say is that uh, if you follow the money, all you got to do is follow the money. You'll be able to see exactly what it looks like. So here goes Nick Bosa's contract. All right. We're going into the 2025 season, coming in at 28 years old. This year, his cap number is 20.4 million. If you look at the dead cap, in order to trade Nick or cut Nick pre June 1. If we cut him, it would cost us 75.6 million dollars. Okay. And I mean $96 million in dead money. All right. Now, if we traded him pre June 1 this year, which we're after June 1, so if we traded him after post June 1 in 2025, the dead money would be 18 million. If we traded or cut Nick Bosa post June 1 next year, with his cap number being 42 million, he's got a guaranteed salary of 23.1. The dead money cap hit is only 18 million to 23.1. It's not that bad, Gojira. It's not
It,
that bad.
it's not bad, but my only issue is, though, Coach, we don't have enough depth in the D line to do that kind of move, though, in my honest
That's
opinion.
true. Yeah, we don't. I mean, I think that the knock on Nick is he's not what we want him to be. He's not what we need him to be.
Well, to be
He's
fair,
he's everything. Go ahead.
that's it. To be fair, though, he hasn't had a great of a supporting cast, especially last year. You seen he had to play down near all 100% snaps because we didn't have any great depth, especially for pass rush. So I feel like I gave Nick Bosa a slide this last year because we didn't have the greatest surrounding supporting cast. Although you'll think, well, why should he get a supporting cast? You know,
That was
he
going to
should
be the next
automatically be great.
question. I was going to ask you
But
that.
it's like
Does he
it's
deserve a
just
supporting? I mean, not deserve, but how much of this is supporting cast and how much of this is you got to be the man?
yeah, I agree. But it's like if you
How
go
much of a
back to
supporting cast does Miles Garrett get?
he got quite a few. He usually gets that opposite, bookend DN throughout the years. He had been having, as a Darius Smith. He's been having uh there was somebody else before that. He been having good little decent D linemen around him to be,
Okay, okay.
the next Miles. Well, what makes Miles Garrett? It's the same thing for TJ Watt. You got him. You have Hightower. Was it Hightower or High Smith?
High Smith
And then you got
Tower.
y- I think it's one of those two. You know what I'm talking about.
Smith Tower.
You got him. You got Hayward. Like you can't have that premium D lineman without a supporting cast. This is like the same thing like your quarterback. There's only so few quarterbacks that could do that. Same with Parsons. People praise Parsons. He can't do really much if he doesn't have a supporting cast. You can only do so much as a D lineman without a supporting cast. My honest opinion.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, that's true. It is a team. You got to be able to have somebody to run games with. You can't run games on your own, especially on the D line. But I will say that he is a little cookie cutter as far as like his play recognition. I mean, always
Yeah,
crashing down.
especially on zone reads. That's like his
He's
biggest weakness.
horrible. He's horrible, and they do it. And it's almost to the point where I feel like you know how it is in the game when somebody who's really good has a weakness. Nobody outwardly talks about it because you want to keep using it.
Yeah,
So nobody's going to talk to him about this from another team or anything. You know what I'm saying? But if you just want to look at like the net, if you took the name off the jersey and just watched him play, you say, God, man, this kid, he's polished, he's in shape, he's got a good motor, but oh my God, his play recognition on RPO, his play recognition on
read
zone
options. Yeah,
read options. I mean, if you just make him the point of attack, you can kind of get away with murder. Like he's bad. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And
yeah.
he
The
does it a
worst one
lot.
is the highlight is in that Super Bowl where Mahomes had that crazy run up the middle because it was on
That
both sides.
that's what killed the game for us. That's what killed the game. So yeah, so it's things like that where you say to yourself, $34 million a year, my ass.
Well,
Like, you know
but
what I'm
here's how
saying?
coach. This is how you could counter it though. If you're really if the Niners really want to go through this route, there is possibilities this season you can get your bookend pass rusher to replace Bosa. You got two of them over there in Cincinnati where you can go snack.
I would all right, so you weren't here, you just came on. I asked that question earlier today. Now, obviously, let's get realistic before we start having fun with this. But realistically, it's looking like if Shamar Stewart did not sign,
He's
that
going to the draft again or
he would have
something
to
like
get
that. Yeah.
redrafted, blah, 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 whatever. But there is a path where it could be a sign and trade if they were like, look, we'll sign what the Niners want, hypothetically, and we'll trade you, right? And we'll take the deal on. Look, would you be excited if he came over? How real do you think this is?
For what, Shamar Stewart or Trey Henderson?
Shamar, I don't know, not Henderson. I think he's way too he's out of our price range. He's looking for like a life changing deal.
Nah, we ain't giving them that.
We ain't
We
giving
could
him that
barely.
exactly.
But with Stewart, the only issue I had, I didn't was not thrilled about him throughout the draft process. Even you said the same thing. He wasn't really. He doesn't pop. He got that one skill set, just which is pass rushing, which is what we need. But to me, he don't have that pop. But I would not be mad about the fact if we get somebody younger, because we do need to go younger.
Mm-hmm.
Start the process early. But if they can manage somehow some way to do it this year, let him learn from Bosa for a year, and then you do cut Bosa, then you got your two bookend DNs for the next 5 years guaranteed, and all you got to be really focused on is just getting that depth. But I could see a potential trade because I don't think Cincinnati's just gonna let it go to waste, especially the first round pick.
All right, so how about this? If we Cincinnati's cheap, so it's not even like we could trade Bosa to Cincinnati. Not with this deal.
Well, Larry was talking about throwing was it Beal Jr. inside the trade, which makes 0 sense. Why would Cincinnati want him if we
Ew.
don't want his ass?
I don't know about that. Ew. Robert Bill Jr.
Yeah, he said you throw him in there. A second round pick, that third round pick that can turn into a second round pick, and a fourth round pick that should be able to get it done. Which I don't think Cincinnati would go for because that makes 0 sense. Why would I get a pass rusher that I won't be able to use?
Yeah, this don't look good. Yeah. Robert Bills Jr., oh my God, he got a 7-Eleven contract. Lord, anybody could pick this up. You can pick this contract up for a bag of Takis and a Gatorade. But yeah, no, Robert Bill Jr. is not a piece. I think that was just I love Larry, but I think Larry just kind of gets ahead of himself.
At times, yeah, because I watch all you guys because I work 10-hour shifts on graveyards.
Okay,
I
okay.
love watching you guys because you guys can make my night go through quicker because get my information throughout the day from you guys, you,
Mm-hmm.
Larry, Grant, Jesse, Ryan. That's where I get all my source of information, and not the
Mm-hmm.
false ones. So like somebody last name like Lombardi. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
everything's great. Coach, I don't know what you guys are tripping about. Everything's great in Ireland.
All right, all right. So this is the thing, man. I ain't no I'm not a hater. I am not a hater. But this is what I will say. I have put it like this. Your most pragmatic and logical content creators are gonna be your content creators who don't treat this like a job. Like your most realistic content creators where you're gonna get like some real shit that doesn't even help me, right? It doesn't help my channel to come on here and say there's nothing to talk about. That doesn't help my channel, right?
Yeah, not at all.
But this ain't my job, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't how I pay my bills, man.
He gives me vibes of like one of those coaches, after a loss, right? Like especially a close loss. Oh, you did a great. No, fuck that, man. We just lost. I gotta tell you, we just
Yeah.
did a great job, and we get them next time. Nah, I don't want to hear that crap. Tell
Nah.
me that I want to go. We're gonna go to practice. We're gonna fucking condition or whatever. Punish us
Yes.
for losing. Not give us praise. Like that's a total
I, I'm
opposite of what you're supposed to be
I am
doing.
the same way, bro. Like after a loss, the last thing I want to hear in a failure is to be patronized. Do not tell me something didn't happen when it clearly just happened. Don't do that. Don't tell me it's gonna be okay when everything right now that's happening is not okay. Don't tell me that. So, yeah, listen, these guys, man. You ever been? Where do you stay at? You stay out there?
I stay in Indy. I'm close to Indy. I'm Jesse's and Larry's, guy from far.
Oh, so what part of
That
Indiana you live in?
straight downtown Indianapolis.
Word. So you stay in Naptown?
Close by. I'm like 15 minutes away from it. Yeah.
Dog, man. I was out in Fishers last year. You know where Fishers is at?
Yeah, dog. You should have said something. I wish I want you. I want you, Jesse, to hit up to come to the Colts game on Monday night, or that's if it stays Monday night,
Dude, you
because
know
that's my
what?
plan to go to.
I'm thinking about doing that, bro, because I got some business out there in Indiana. I was out there in Fishers, bro. So, I mean, if it's close too, Fishers is mad close to the stadium. You know what I'm saying?
It's about a 30-minute drive, but from where I stay,
Yeah.
it's like 15 minutes. It's not too far though, all in all, especially in the facility. There's like not from the stadium to like a bunch of other places. It's about 30-minute drive.
Y'all got to get some, like, it's too much agriculture out there, though, man. Y'all got to
I
get, like,
wish I wish you could come down here for one season, coach, for a training camp. The training camp tickets are easy as hell to get close, like training camp tickets just to see.
bro, well, that's the thing, man. Like, listen, I'm gonna tell you this. This channel, there's a reason why, like, listen, this is a Niners centric channel, obviously. But as time goes on, where I'm going to cover the Niners during the season, but I'm also going to cover the NFL. And like what I would love is for me to be able to go to different camps. You know what I'm saying? Still keeping the Niners channel, obviously, but I want to be able to go see a team that we're going to play. Right? There's nobody giving you that content where shoot, you know what? While everybody is worried about the Niners, we're going up there to Seattle for camp to go see what Seattle's talking about for camp. Or we'll do a whole NFC West camp where next year we going to LA.
That'd be a dope idea if you guys doing that. That'd be really cool.
I'll be giving these dudes, bro, I do this shit with one hand behind my back. If this really was my JOB, bro, this would be ridiculous, bro.
See, this is what I just told my little sister earlier today. I mean, I said if money wasn't the damn issue, it'd be so fun to go do all this crap. You know how fun it would be, Coach, like going to do different tailgates. Go different training camps to see who the Niners play this year. Is it worth the competition? Should we be worried about it,
bro?
All the little things you'll get to enjoy. But here,
bro, there are 89 people on this chat right now. Ain't a lot of people in here right now. What I'm telling you right now is that could be the next thing. Nobody's talking about it, but you heard it here first. The next best thing is taking what we do on the road, but from a Niners perspective, right? The Niners would care about what the Rams are doing for training camp.
Well, here's like what's great thing, Coach. I could be your inside scoop because I'm already here. You don't have to come all the way out here. I can let you know within.
I got a correspondent. Hit me up, bro. You got my Twitter?
No, but I'll find you after this if you want me to.
Tough Up Front 77. Hit up my Twitter, DM me, and we gonna rap, bro. Look, I'm come on. Listen, everybody in the chat, this is open opportunity. If you guys want to do anything with content creation, you guys want to do anything with YouTube, I am the guy, okay? Because I'm a normal guy who went out and did all of this crap, and I still work a regular 9 to 5. So really, if you really want to get the track on how to do this, man, get at me. I'll put y'all on, man. I am not a gatekeeper, man. Really.
And that's where I think you, Grant. I know Grant's a bad rap because of his takes and
Grant put me on.
I know. And then this is where I try to tell people throughout Twitter space and stuff. That's Grant's persona online. That's what he puts out. As a person, you don't know how the person is in real life because the person could be a lot nicer than what they persuade as. But
first of all, let me say this about Grant. Let me say this. Grant is exactly who he is in real person as he is online. He's the exact same person. Let me tell you this. The only difference is that you've never heard Grant talk about anything outside of the Niners for more than 30 minutes. You see what I'm saying? So that content literally doesn't exist. Where you've got a full hour of talking to Grant and we're not talking about the Niners. So everything that Grant says in the guise of content is going to always hit somebody a different way based off of how they feel about the team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
However, dude, salt of the earth, one of the most caring guys I know. He's a real friend in real life. You know what I'm saying? He's a really cool guy. So
he has to, because I was like the years I've been watching him since like the first year they got Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was 17 since 2017. He's been adding you guys like you, Jesse, Ryan. You guys were basically of the Mike McDaniels, Robert Saleh, the coaching staff for real.
Yeah.
But
it is.
Like, he got you guys on point. It's the same thing he did. The same thing with Larry and stuff. He don't want to gatekeep this because it's better having more.
He put all of us on. All of us. The only person that had a channel before they met Grant was Jesse. Jesse had a channel before he met Grant. But when I met Grant, I did not have a chat. Grant pulled me out of the chat. All right. So the same way we get you through your work shift, I was working physical security, executive protection, 15 years ago. All right. And in the middle of I ran into Grant on YouTube when he first put up his first YouTube channel 5 years ago. I think it's like 5 or 6 years ago. So when I was checking IDs, when I was riding in the car, driving principals all over the place, I was listening to I was listening to the grid. I was listening to the shows. So the same way you're calling in right now and coming up and speaking right now and actually giving my platform content, right? That's the thing that a lot of content creators are not going to tell you. You're helping me right now. That's the same thing that Grant did for me, is that Grant was honest enough in that moment to say, hey, look, I know you're new to this and I know this is kind of cool for you, but you're helping me. And if you are good enough at this, you should be able to help yourself with time. You see what I'm saying? And everything that I know, I will help you. It's very rare to find somebody that does this for a living that's going to be able to give you the keys like that. A lot of people don't give away free game like that.
Yeah, especially because like with all this, economy and stuff ain't cheap no more. And that's what Jesse said. He said, I'm making a little bread right now in here, but it's not enough for me to quit my job. And good for him because it's like, you got to put your family first over anything, over, content and all that, and all this stuff. Because this stuff, it just comes second for you guys. This is for you
Mm-hmm.
guys to come, relieve, have fun, not take your mind off the real world for a little bit and, get into your mind space and sports and all that stuff, which is what I enjoy with you guys because I try to do the same thing when I'm at work. I try to enjoy the little days, you just have interactions with your work buddies and all that crap.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. I mean, and that's exactly how it works, bro. And one thing, Frisco, principal in executive protection, not literal principals. That's what we call the main guy that we're protecting, the principal. So it's not an actual school principal, but if you're doing a job, the guy who is the main guy he's called the principal. My bad. But look, hey man, anytime you want to come up here, Alan, hit me up. Hit me up in my DMs. You know what I'm saying, and we'll talk, and we'll move forward from there, man. But it was a great call, brother. I want to
I
call. I
will,
want
and
to.
I appreciate you, man, because I was gonna call a couple of times and just didn't have the time for it. And I do appreciate you having it on a Saturday or a Sunday because it's like my days off, so I was like perfect. But past couple weeks, I
Mm-hmm,
got some other crap to deal with. But I do enjoy your guys' content, especially your guys' little core because it keeps me up afloat. Keeping up with the Niners news and stuff. But I do want to tell
mm-hmm,
you though, so far the receiver to watch out for if you're doing fantasy this year is
mm-hmm.
Adrian Mitchell for the Colts.
Really?
Yes, he wears number 10. He came from Texas. I'm thinking. Came from Texas, but he had
Mm,
that weird blood issue. I think it was like blood sugar or something like that, where he had like
okay.
temper stuff. But he's a receiver to watch out for because he didn't have a consistent quarterback throwing the ball.
Uh huh.
But yeah, he's one of those guys to watch out for. And then who's another one? And I guess Pittman. You could say Pittman, although he really don't do much
Right.
because of quarterbacks and stuff. But I don't know. And then I'm curious because like at least we not having quarterback controversy over there in the Niners. It's QB controversy over here. So can't wait to see how that plays out over here.
For sure, man. Hey, tell me who you got, man. Tell me who you got tomorrow. Game 7. You in Indy, baby. Who you got?
Gotta take Indy, man. You know how crazy this town would go, Coach? It being not being a big market city here. Yeah, how
Yeah.
crazy this fan base would be over here, especially downtown.
So is it going to be a? Where's it going to be? Is it over there or is it?
It's in OKC because OKC had the home court advantage.
Okay,
They
so
have to
they're
play
going to
there
the
this year.
Paycom Center. Okay,
Hmm.
okay. So so I mean, look, man. Wish you all the best of luck, man. Again, thanks for calling in, man. Can't wait to link up with you through the DMs, man, so we can talk.
I will. I'll keep up with you, man. Having this little conversation kind of, you know, maybe gives a little spark of maybe more.
Man, you better get a spark. I ain't talking to you for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Talk about some
All right, Coach.
maybe your motivation. I'll take it into consideration. I'll think about it. But you better get off your ass and hit me in the DMs, boy.
I
I'll
will,
talk to
man.
you, Alan.
I'll talk to you as much as possible, man. I got you.
All right, brother. Talk to
Have
you,
a good
man.
one.
All right. Hey, man. This is another good one. Guys, we're almost an hour and 30 minutes in. We had a rough start, but we got it together. Rob, great engagement. Rob, I put the link in the chat again for you. Let's get a super chat out of the way real quick. 6 minute ads, 5 minutes. What up, coach? Low key, love the team better than last year. Salah is the X factor. I'm not going to lie. I love the team better than last year, too, because of the fact that we didn't go through the same offseason as we did. Just off that alone, I love this team better than we did last year. The participation, the beginning of our season was so bad last offseason that we have already exponentially given ourselves a better shot at having success in making the playoffs than we did just by simply signing our players and having a full draft and getting all the coaches in. There's no contract disputes. There's nobody holding out. There's nobody talking on Instagram all over the place. Brandon Ayuk. Jesus. And the stream, the chat. Germ, I got you. Calm down. I was just about to get to the chat, and here comes Germ. Giving it up to the chat for putting up with all of my nonsense. The way I started the show. I love you. I could have came back, and it could have been nobody. Everybody could have been like, we're done with this bullshit. What is this, amateur hour? Coach is wasting our time. I don't get on the YouTubes to have all of these malfunctioning technical issues. This is not what we're here for. But you guys held me down. My man, 10 grand. Love y'all. Talk to you guys later. See you on Monday on Cover 2 with me and Jesse, man. I'll talk to y'all, man. This is the coach signing out. Stay low.